Hello and welcome to our next video designed to support our families and their children whilst we're learning at home at the moment. Now, as a teacher, I probably get asked the most amount of questions about phonics. Lots to do with the terminology, how do I do it, how can I support my child, and this video is a really quick, snappy video designed to show you some of the terminology we use when we talk about phonics, when we teach phonics, so hopefully it will help you when you're helping your child to learn at home. Now you can see this video is entitled Phonics Jargon Buster, so we're going to start off with our first term. So the first term we're going to talk about is pure sounds, and as the name suggests, it's just about saying the sound correctly. So when we're teaching our child at home, it's really important that we say them correctly. We use the pure sound. So I'll give you an example here. We try not to say m, we say m. We try and say s, not s. It helps our child put those sounds together. So the next term we're going to look at is called oral blending. Now, oral blending, as the name suggests, doesn't involve reading letters that are written down. It's all about using our ears, this one, and blending those sounds together. So it'd be as simple as saying to our child, b-a-s, b-a-s. What can you hear? Bus. Oral blending. So next up we've got blending. Now blending is when we use the written sounds. So if you had s, a, t, s, at, s, at makes sat. That's the difference. So oral blending we use our ears, and blending we read those sounds to put them together. We blend them. So the next term we're going to use is segmenting, and segmenting is the opposite to blending. So instead of putting those sounds together, we're pulling them apart to help us write the words. So it might be something as simple as we're going to write the word bus. What sounds can you hear? Bus. So straight away you can hear the boot at the beginning. B-us. What can you hear next? B-us. For Uncle Umberto, that's right. B-us, b-us. That last sound in the word, slither in and out of the snake. So we've segmented and we've blended it as we've written it. So next up we've got phoneme, and a phoneme is just the smallest unit of sound in a word. So for example, if we split the word up and we segmented it like we said before into b-us, b-us. B would be a phoneme, would be a phoneme, and s would be a phoneme. There's about 44 in the English language all together to learn. So next up, really straightforward, the phoneme was the sound, the grapheme is when it's written down. So simple as this. This is the grapheme for the phoneme. So next up, I'm sure you're really familiar with this one, is a digraph. And a digraph is when a phoneme has got two letters that make it. Simple as that. So for example, if we had the sound, the grapheme written down of the phoneme k, for example, that's a digraph because two letters make it. So next up, following on from a digraph, we've got a trigraph. And a trigraph is, as the name suggests, made up of three letters. So one sound represented by three letters. So a really common one would be I, next to a G, next to a H, makes the sound I. So we're going to get a bit technical for the next one with the name split digraph. Now you already know what a digraph is. It's when the sound has got two letters that make it and they are split. So as the name suggests, there is a consonant in the middle of the digraph. So you can see here how we would record it with that split sound underneath. So you'd have t, I'm, time, easy. Some people refer to this as learning magic E. Tube, tube, easy. So next up's the term decode. And decode just means we're breaking those words up into their component phonemes. Now, when we do that, it means the word generally is decodable, and you'll hear us saying that a lot. So if a word's decodable, you can use your phonics to work it out. Simple, so we'd say k-at, k-at. Blend those sounds together, cat. So cat is a decodable word. So following on from a decodable word, we're going on to tricky words, and they are the opposite. We can't sound them out. So we have to learn what they look like. So for example, in phase 2, we learn tricky words like I, go, no, to, the, and into. Now, these words, if we sounded them out using our phonic knowledge, would sound things like this. We'd say there. Obviously not correct. Same with to, to. No, it's tricky word too. So tricky words we can't sound out. So next term we're going to use, you probably already know this one already, is polysyllabic, and just means how many beats are in the word. So for example, when we get further into our phonics, we'll start learning these polysyllabic words like lunchbox, shampoo, pondweed. You can hear they've got those multiple beats in the word. So next up, we're going to look at something called high frequency words. And as the name suggests, you're going to see them a lot in early reading books. So high frequency words are a combination of decodable words. They are also a combination of tricky words as well. So when the children can read these high frequency words on sight, their reading really speeds up. So next up, we've got alien words. These are also called non-words or made-up words, and they're all the same thing. So alien words are when we make up a word using our phonics, and it really tests the children to see that they understand how their phonemes go together. So for example, if we had the word fid. Doesn't matter that it's made up, and it's really important to practice these with your child at home, because in year 1 they do have a phonics screening test and it contains real and these alien words too. So our next term is sound buttons, and it's really straightforward, this one. It's one button for every sound, so every phoneme. So when we write it down with the graphemes, you'll see something like this. K, a, t. It's got 3 buttons underneath. When we touch the button with our finger, that's when the children say that phoneme. So k, at, at. Now it's worth noting here, an easy word with a digraph, something like shop, for example, would have a larger sound button at the beginning. So you'd have one sound button underneath the S and the H, because they make that one sound, it's one phoneme, and 2 smaller sound buttons underneath here. So you'd go sh, up, sh, up. That's how we use our sound buttons. So next up, we've got something called a phoneme frame, and I like to call it sound windows as well in school. So it's as simple as this. You might have 3 windows, so that means the word is going to have 3 sounds in, and I might give the children the challenge to write a simple word like dog. So in each of the windows, you'd put 1 grapheme like this, and you'd sound it out the same way I showed you with the sound buttons. Now it's always interesting when I start teaching the children digraphs and trigraphs in their phonics, what I tend to do is give them the same phoneme frame, so it's still got the 3 component windows, and make sure that we're recording it correctly. It really helps with their spelling. So for example, if I said to them, let's write the word shop, as we've just done before, you'd see, if the children understood, the digraph would need to go into 1 window, because it's 1 sound. So really simple. You'd make sure that they were putting the S and the H together, then the O, then the P. Really helps with their spelling and also their spotting of those digraphs and trigraphs. So next term we're going to refer to is alliteration. And alliteration, you probably already know, it's just when a word starts with 1 letter and the following words also start with that same letter. So lots of stories will have this that we read to the children. So it might be terrible teeth, or it might be knobbly knees. And the children really listen out to those sounds to hear it's the same sound in each word. And we say, ooh, what can you hear at the beginning of the word? And they'll shout out alliteration. They love to use that term in class. So next up is a term that we use probably a bit too much, and it's really simple when you know what it means. So VC, vowel consonant, and CVC words, consonant, vowel, consonant. So this is what we start when we start with our reading. So we've got our tricky words, and we have these type of words, the simple words that we can sound out using our phonics to be able to decode those words. Now, moving on from those simple words like dog, cat, pot, man, in, at, on, we're going to look at phase 4. So when the children learn phase 4 phonics, they start to learn consonant blends. So it's as simple as this. So now you know what we mean. CCVC would be reading the word something like black. And CVCC would be where the consonant blends at the end of the word in a word like milk. So the final term we're going to look at is phonics phase, and we refer to this a lot because this is where we expect the children to be reading and writing according to their phonics phase, where they've been taught up to. So basically, letters and sounds is what we follow here at Hoole, and we go all the way from phase 1, which is the first phase, all the way up to phase 6. I really hope you found this video useful, and it's worth noting that we use all this terminology with the children in reception when we're teaching every day. So they know sound buttons, they know phoneme frames, they know digraph, they know trigraph. All this terminology will not be new to them. So it's great now that I've been able to share it with you, and I hope you found that useful too. Now, if you did like the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also you can subscribe for free to our Hoole Church of England Primary School YouTube channel, and that way you'll get an alert when our next video goes live. Thank you so much for watching.